wanted to start out by talking about my box. I know that it's not exactly that decorative. You know, everybody else had very creative ideas, but I like the idea of being able to get into the box. That's what I'm trying to depict here. So, you know, when you need your strategies, where are you going to go? You're going to go inside yourself. You're going to go into the box. So the first strategy that I wanted to start with, I brought in a necktie. I like the idea of giving students jobs in class. I like, you know, giving students jobs so that you don't have to do all the work. I think that's awesome. You know, I teach 2-hour classes about math, you know, and I'm talking for however long. My voice gets tired. You know, the students get tired. They need jobs too, so I give them jobs also. I like the idea of having students teach. So I brought in a spotlight. Flashing there. I brought in a spotlight, just putting people on the spot. You know, I love in this class how you have to get up. You know, you have to actually show your skills. You know, we're teachers. We have taken on this responsibility of getting into education, but how many of us have actually taught? You need to be able to know that you can do it. You know, and that's huge. And I think that's huge in any class. You know, how can you display your knowledge? You teach it. I brought in a shoe. I like the idea of having students actually participate in a little bit of a physical, just something physical in class to get energy out. I like the idea of like having students maybe run a lap at sometimes, like, you know, as a disciplinary measure, you know, during their own time. You know, you're being rambunctious. You need to, during recess, I want you to go ahead and run a lap for me. Not to mention I also sometimes, you know, put that in my mouth. Sorry, Nikki.
It's okay, young child. You too will learn.
I also brought in a children's book. I like the idea of anecdotes during class. Sometimes, you know, you need just a little break. You need to tell a story. You need something to relate the kids to you. I like telling stories in my class. Obviously, you got to stay appropriate. But I like breaking away from, you know, material, not being so serious, sometimes telling a story. I brought in a jump rope. This is a bit of a stretch. Acronyms. Acronyms, excuse me, not acronyms, what am I talking about here? Acronyms, yes, acronyms. Okay, so memorization. I like the idea that, you know, acronyms help you memorize, and jump ropes are, you know, very much a mental memorization for, you know, physical memory. When I jump rope, if I haven't jump rope for a while, I'm going to get 20 jumps in, and then I'm going to, you know, falter. But if I've been doing it for a while, I can get in the motion, and I can memorize my stuff and feel confident that I know it. So that's why I brought the jump rope in. Where's my pen? I brought the pen in. I like the idea of writing first and speaking second. I think that, you know, in a 30-person classroom, not everybody's going to be able to talk, and they all have ideas. Being able to write down your ideas is something that you need to get used to early. I know that, you know, sometimes you just can't say things to people. You know, everybody has thoughts in their own head. You can't say it to people. You know, a piece of paper is very rational. I think that's amazing that you can write down your ideas. I couldn't find a thesaurus. I didn't want to go out and buy one, but I couldn't find it, so we'll pretend I have a thesaurus. I love the idea of synonyms. In my teaching, and this actually happened today in class, I was teaching about a graph that does something like this. And we have, you know, 2 points here. We have a peak and we have a trough. But I realized that throughout my lecture, I called this a peak, a mesa, a plateau. I called this a trough, a valley. And, you know, you want to get the kids used to it. You know, they say, you know, if you call this a peak, a mesa, a valley, they have so many things to relate it to. And I love using synonyms. Okay, on to outside of the box. Math is a weird thing. I studied math in college, and people think of math being so concrete, and I'm not going to argue that it isn't, because, you know, oftentimes there is one answer. But when you get into higher level math, you're going to see the most abstract, crazy people that you've ever met in your life. And for that reason, I have a bit of that in me, and I'm a very philosophical thinker like that, and so a lot of my insights came out like that. The first one, which I have my sponge here, is that students absorb everything. And from the things that you put on the walls, from the things that you say, and the subconscious is just a very powerful thing. And so you always need to be aware that what you're showing these children, they're gonna learn that passively, even if they're not active about it. The glasses, the do, look, learn idea, I think, is critical. Just reflecting on your own thoughts constantly. I mean, we all do it. If we weren't people, we wouldn't do it, but we are. We have to think about the things that we do, and I love the idea of do, look, learn. Not necessarily as a strategy, but as an insight. Always think about what you've done and what worked and what didn't. Glasses. This piece of candy. Good teaching comes from one phrase or a whole year's worth of material. Giving students positive reinforcement for achievements in class and on assignments. I just brought in a piece of candy for some type of positive reinforcement. The lighter, and this is one of my favorite insights, is about curiosity. Curiosity is the catalyst of learning. Just keeping kids curious, and I wanted to demonstrate that this is a catalyst, starting the spark, starting the fire. The ankle brace was a demonstration of support. The best parents support a child's decision and allow them to make their own mistakes in the learning process, and I think that's extremely valuable, is that, as much as you want your students to do exactly as you do, they're not gonna. They're going to do their own thing, and they completely need to, you completely need to support them. They're gonna make their own mistakes, they're gonna do their own things at their own rate, and that's the ankle brace. And then, I brought in a picture of people hugging. I think this is one of my largest insights, is that we need each other. If anything there is in the world, it's people, and we need each other to support each other. You gotta have your teachers, you gotta have your students, you gotta tell yourself that you've done good things, and you've gotta hear the other people tell you that you've done good things. And then to end on a funny note, I brought in another cartoon, and this has to do with praise. We've got two people here, two older people on walker that are hunched over on walkers, and it says, "That time back in 2007 when you tidied your room, well done." And it says, "Praise works best when it comes straight after the positive behavior."
That's very true.
So just the idea of praise. Praise obviously is a great thing, but more powerful than praise was the idea of positive reinforcement. And that's it.